Hello, hello, hello. I'm making sure. So I'm checking the Facebook page to make sure that we're on. My name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug. And we've been trying to bring this information to you. How long?
About 2 hours.
About 2 hours. This
About
is
two,
going to be really
yeah.
good. So
So
go ahead and if you're here, because we can't initially see your comments, we'll see them in a minute. But go ahead and let us know you're here. My name is Linda Murray Bullard, and I got my sister right here. What's your name, girl?
April Ellis Boozer.
April Ellis Boozer, and we're going to talk about grants. Let's talk about grants, y'all. So, how many of you guys are a small business, a nonprofit, a community group, an individual that has impact, or a church leader? Like, how many of you guys fit in any of those categories? Because we're doing this right just for them.
Exactly.
We're doing this because we noticed in looking at some of the awards of grants that are going out and about in the whole atmosphere, hardly any of it is coming to help the grassroots community groups that we know of here in Chattanooga or anywhere else. So we're trying, so this is going out across the entire United States of America. This is for those people who are a small business, who are a nonprofit, who are a community group, or who are individuals or church leaders that have impact. So this is not just for nonprofits, right, April?
Right, right.
Right. So you don't have to have a 501c3 to listen to this because it's going to be beneficial to you if you are for profit or if you're a nonprofit. So April and I got together because we both sat under the famous, God rest his soul, the famous Max Church.
Extra.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we
Blessing.
were students. And so he did some teaching to both of us about grants and grant writing. And so we want to share that with everyone who fits in those categories after before mentioned. I'm going to talk about, so April, tell them about your nonprofit experience.
Wow. So I've had at least 5 years of nonprofit experience, and there are many grants out there for nonprofits as well as for profits. So you just have to know where to look, what you need to put in the grants, and just be vigilant about it. I can tell you that much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so my experience is I was the secretary for the New Jefferson Heights Community Development Corporation that was here in Chattanooga. We were the first housing unit. We put the first housing unit in what's now the new historical South Side. Like before we started, there was no development in the Main Street area, the Main Street, Market Street, Fort Negley, all of those neighborhoods. But our group was the very first ones. We took eight dilapidated houses and received a C&E grant. And for $294,000, we built a brand new 8 unit air conditioned complex right on the corner of Washington and Main. And so my experience is we did that. We also did a youth enrichment camp where kids who were of the ages of 13 to 15, we had a summer enrichment camp where they could come and work for us and do a stipend, get a stipend to help them buy their school clothes or whatever. So we did that because they're too old to go to daycare and they're too young to get employed because the average age of employment is around 16. There
Right.
are a few jobs younger than that. But when we did this, and this is talking about in the late 90s. So we did this here information. We also had computer literacy classes where I one of the major vendors here was getting rid of computers. So I got 20 computers and we set up computer literacy classes to teach people in the basement of my church. So all of that was done by New Jefferson Heights and all of that experience. We even had a Tiger Woods grant.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, we actually got one of those to help us. So we actually did a collaboration with several entities here in the city, and we were able to pull all those things off. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about being impactful, and we're going to talk about how do you get there, and we're going to talk about our event, which is January the 4th, the first Saturday in January at 2 o'clock. So April and I are going to do a training session. And this training session is going to get you right together. Am I
Oh,
right,
yes.
April?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
And
You're
as I
gonna
was
learn.
saying, yeah, yeah, right. And see, and not only are we going to get you together as far as the grant thing, we actually have somebody, shout out to Deetra Spears Johnson, who is our backup girl. So she's going to help you if you need to get your nonprofit together and get grant positioned, right? Because whether you're a nonprofit, if you're for profit, then I can help you with that part. But she's going to help all the nonprofits. And if you're for profit, then you'll want to meet with me so that I can help you get your structure together so that you can become grant worthy. So that's what we're doing. So let's talk about what. So we talked about who to expect, who can come. Again, that's if you are a for-profit small business, a nonprofit business, if you are a community group, a church leader, or just an individual who wants to impact your community through getting fundings for grants, right?
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
let's talk about the way we're presenting this. April has been phenomenal in getting grants. So April, talk about that situation about how grants helped your program that you were doing for the Chattanooga area because you were very impactful with that, Carol.
Yeah. Well, we started out in 2014, and we were one of the few African American organizations that received a pretty big amount, grant from the city of Chattanooga, and we did it for like 3 years in a row.
Yes.
And that grant actually helped us to do a lot of things in the community, with the young men, excuse me, young ladies as well. We did a lot of projects, off campus. We took kids on college tours. We just did a lot with those grants.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're going to talk about. So she has the experience of actually winning the grant. So we're not talking about okay, so how are they going to teach us? Did somebody teach them and now they're just regurgitating what they learned? And that's not it. Both of us have actually been involved in the grant process because, like I said before, I was the secretary for the New Jefferson Heights CDC, and we did the housing, we did the community enrichment, and we also did the adult typing class, the adult literacy class, the computer class. So yeah, so those things. So when somebody, so who do you think should really attend our session? Like who do you think is ideal? So I gave all these big names and stuff, but can you give me some scenarios of people who might want to attend the session?
I think anybody that is boots on the ground. I think anybody that is actually, out there working, that has an idea and a passion, and like I said, just actually out there working, doing the work, but they just need some help, to really just get it launched. So I
Absolutely,
think, it could be, like you said, a small business. It could be, somebody that's wanting to, become a nonprofit, or it could be somebody that's just, wanting to just, do it for profit. So
absolutely,
anybody that is really wanting to learn about grants should be a part of it, because
absolutely.
they're out here for everybody. They're actually out here for everybody.
Absolutely. I agree. I couldn't agree more. And that's the thing. So if you are someone who sees a need in your community, like you think to yourself, oh, if we need to have, say, we need to buy uniforms for kids because we know statistically that the first 2 weeks of school is the most highest absentee rate because a lot of the children don't have their uniform and we're uniform schools for the most part here in the city. The young people have to wear uniforms, a certain color, top, a certain color bottom. And a lot of times the parents haven't gotten that yet by the first 2 weeks of school. And so what this would do is this would help them if you see the need, say, well, okay, I need to do a drive for this, or I need funding. That because for myself, I actually was a part of Leadership Chattanooga, and one of the projects that on the team that I worked on, we set up a uniform closet at Orchard Knob Middle School because that was one of probably the problem. The kids just couldn't get their uniforms, so we set up where they wouldn't have to pay for the uniforms; they could do volunteer hours. So it's trying to make things accessible for the people in the communities that you serve, and that's what this whole thing is about. We've seen the money is out there, but not enough. Like in one organization, they've given over $6 billion away, April, and
Wow.
hardly, I mean, less than less than 500,000 has come to Chattanooga.
Wow.
I mean, they're giving away 6 billion, and less than 500,000 have come here. And so that right there is, we need to be about trying to get this ready.
Yes, we
So
do.
the thing about getting grants, right? You have to be structured,
Yes.
and you have to have a history. So these people who've been doing work, you've already been doing work, but you, like April said, which is wonderful, that you already been doing the work, but you just need a little push to help you to get to where you need to be as far as the support of your business and your idea. So who uh, if you have questions or comments about what we're going to do on January the 4th, let's give them a taste of what they can expect from your end.
Okay, we're going to be talking about just the structure of an actual grant, a grant that was, written for me by Max Church, and he did grants over $200 million.
Whew.
So, and we're also going to give away some tips on, some local grantors, people that give grants to, local community organizations.
Absolutely.
Gosh, it's just so much. We're going to give you tips on what you should add, when you're writing your grant. Just, if you hadn't structured everything yet, you haven't learned how to capture, information. We're going to give you tips on how to capture information, because a lot of times, you don't have to have this big database of things. It's like you're doing the work. You just have to know how to capture it, because a lot of times when you're writing grants, those are some of the things that you'll need to know. And if we don't capture that information, it's kind of hard to, give the grant givers, what they need.
Right. And there's very specific metrics that they are interested in. And so we're going to talk in great detail about those metrics. Like, what should you be capturing and how should you capture it? And that's
Exactly.
what April's going to go through, I mean, in great detail. So you have exactly what you need in order to get your grant information up and running. And also, my side of it is I have been presenting lists and lists and lists of people who are giving away grants. That's what I like. That's my fun side. My fun side is to show you, actually, we walk through and we're going to show you specifically those organizations that will give you, your organization, grant money. Like, you don't have to go dig for it. We're going to show you in our session exactly where to go, who you need to talk to, and what they're looking for. So she's going to show you exactly what goes in the paperwork. I'm going to show you where to apply the paperwork. So together, we've come together because we really, really want you to be successful. I mean, that's why we're here. And so we are coming together. It's January the 4th at 2 o'clock Eastern. If you have internet connection anywhere you are in the world, your ticket is good, because we're going to send out a link so that you can join us, and we're going to walk through this thing and get you exactly what you need to get started in your grant. I get calls all the time from business owners who are like, Linda, where are the grants? Linda, where are the grants? So this is the answer to the question. I'm going to show you where the grants are. We're going to show you where the money is so that you can use that information that you're already doing, right? You already are up and running. And in some cases, some of the grantors don't require you to be already up and running. They do require you to have a solid plan of a program. So we're going to talk about that. And so that's what we're going to be doing. January 4th, 2020 at 2 o'clock. You can meet us, buy your ticket now, like gift yourself this if you are an organization, or gift a church leader, or gift somebody that's doing the work and could really use a little bit more money to help them along the way. We're going to show them how to get their act together. And again, my girl Deetra, I had to shout out to Deetra. She's going to help you get the nonprofit up and running if that's what you need. But if the nonprofit is not what you're needing, then we're going to show you how you can be a for profit and still get the benefits of nonprofit. April and
Exactly.
I have done that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We've done that ourselves. And so we're going to show you how you can be a for profit. Like, having a 501c3 should not stop you from serving the neighborhoods that you're in. So, any questions? And Satari, I see Satari. Satari said she was one of the first people to live in the new units that we built. over on what's now the south side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and see, back then we did the 8 units for $294,000, right? Today, houses over there are selling for 400,000 and up. They
Wow.
saw the 8 units, and people, the developers, the idea, the builders, they, you all know, if you drive on the south side now, where those houses are, you cannot buy a house over there under 300,000. It's just impossible. You can't. And so that started the whole, people talk about gentrification and all those things, but that was the catalyst. We were the catalyst for people getting attention on that side of the road. And so if you are in an area that you think could be developed, if you have an idea of how to build your community, if you have an idea and a plan on how you can next level the community that you live in, the community that you're serving, then you need to be in the place. Because don't you think, April, they're going to get some
Oh,
things?
yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah. They're going to get blessed. They're going to get blessed. I can tell you
absolutely. So
that much.
you're going to be taught by people who actually were on the receiving end of the grants. So we know what we sent in, and we know what we got back.
Exactly. So we can give you those tips.
Absolutely,
We can give you those
absolutely.
tips.
Those tips are going to next level those plans that you have. And if you're already out there working and you just need some support and you feel like these I talk about friend raisers, right? Because a lot of people are doing fundraisers where you're just out there just scuffling, just trying to make it happen, trying to make it happen. But we're going to talk about friend raisers where when people cut their taxes, cut the check for their taxes, they also write a check for you. Wouldn't that be good?
That would
Rather
be
than
awesome. That would be
absolutely.
awesome.
Like they tell you for the next 3 years, I'm going to fund what you're doing and
Hmm.
actually do that. That would be great. So, January the 4th, I'm going to put the link in this video. Go ahead and get your ticket before you spend all your money on Christmas toys and joys and all that. Go ahead and get your ticket so you
Buy
can
your
start the
Christmas
first
gift.
of the year. Absolutely. That's an awesome Christmas gift. So
Yes.
if you have anybody you can give, it doesn't matter what state they're in. If you have anybody you can gift, then make sure you put the ticket in their name and with their email address because that's where the link is going. So you can gift somebody, ask them, what is your email address? And go ahead and gift them the ticket. And we'll be communicating with them and get them ready to come meet with us on January 4th. So, yeah, so that's it. We try for 2 hours. We try for two
Yes.
hours, two systems, too long to try to.
Yes. But we made it.
We made it.
We
We were
made it.
determined to get you
Yes.
guys this information because we know how important it's going to be in 2020 to get your dreams and your communities up and running. And so we are doing it for that reason, is to help you get the resources you need in order to do the services that you have on your heart to do for your community. I think Ground Roots organizations, you all have my heart,
Oh,
whether
yeah.
you're a for-profit business or are a non-profit business, you truly have my heart, and I want to see you succeed. So, anything else, April? I think we've told them about
I
it.
think that's it. I think that's it. Just share, share, share.
Yeah, yeah.
As
Please
much as
share.
possible.
Absolutely. Please share. Please tag people that you think need to be there. Again, I'm going to put the link to this that will have the link to the tickets. But if you know anyone who's doing hard work that could use a little bit more funding, or anyone who's doing work or have a good idea and could really need backing, this is about getting funded because we always talk about there's a shortage of capital when it comes to our businesses, and it's not. It's not. There's not a shortage of capital. There is a way to get to the money, and we want to help you do that.
It's plenty out there. It's
Yes,
plenty out there.
yes, for you and your idea to help the community. Absolutely. So that's it then. April, if you'll hold on, I'm going to tell you all. So this is Linda Murray Bullock. They call me the business plug. And I just plugged you in to grants. We're talking about grants. If you have any questions, go ahead and put your questions below and we will cover your questions. If we get no questions and you come up later and decide you have questions, then we'll come back and answer your questions as much as we can. We will not give you everything that we're giving in the group because we want to make certain that those people who are paying for the ticket get exactly what they need. So,
Exactly.
but any basic question, any general question, it's an online class. We're going to do it just like this. You'll see us just like this. But what you'll see that day is you'll see all of your faces in here with us. And we're going to walk through it and show you examples and show you exactly what you need to move forward. There's a template that's set up. And if you come to the meeting, you get the template, maybe. So we're going to do that. But we're going to go through it and make sure that you have exactly what you need. Our goal is to support you and your community. Again, I'm Linda Murray Bullitt, and we will see you next time. Have a good night.
Good night.